Hello, Internet. Today we are going to talk about this is a TorpedoCon 2021 post-con review. Talk about the pros, the cons, and all that good stuff. TorpedoCon was July 23rd through 25th at the Hollywood Palladium in Los Angeles. So if you're familiar with Torpedo Comics, the store in the OC, as well as Las Vegas, they threw a little convention in LA. As far as I know personally, this was the first, post-pandemic sort of a Comic Con, pop culture related event in LA. But it was not bad. I only went Friday, but there you go. As you can see, the pricing, $25 for a single day, as well as $60 for a 3-day. In addition to that, they also had $60 VIP packages for the different guests. And for some of those, they included 3 signatures as well as 11 by 17 print. But if you didn't want that, the artists and creators were signing at their booths, some for free, some for $5 a book, and CGC and CBCS were there as well, but we'll get into that later. It was pretty decent considering the location and lineup, and there were a ton of food options close by. There was Shake Shack, as well as Arby's, Starbucks, and I'm sure there's some other stuff too. That's all that I saw, but I don't spend too much time over there in Hollywood. And there was also a Funko Hollywood store nearby as well. After the convention, me and my friends went to that to check it out. So location-wise, the Hollywood Palladium is normally a concert venue. I've yet to actually personally see a show at that concert hall. I've been to some others close by, but think of it as the size of a, general admission floor for a show. Not exactly a stadium, but just like a concert hall or like a, larger bar. There are about 50 booths or so, more or less. There was a wide variety of mostly older, if you're into the older, bronze, silver, copper, golden age stuff. That's what a lot of vendors had. There wasn't too much modern from what I saw. Some people had it, but, this was a show for hardcore, collectors. If you're looking for the big keys, all of that stuff was there. And wall books, graded books, all that stuff. There wasn't, this was a very pure comic oriented convention as opposed to other comic cons that have changed, other general cons. At San Diego Comic Con, so to speak, is no longer just a Comic Con. We can all say that, but yeah, that's location. Guest lineup, I thought it was a 10 out of 10. This was supposedly their 3rd year doing this, from what I heard. But seeing as it was one of the first cons returning, post-pandemic in LA, it was so pretty solid for a comic-focused convention. Most of the artists that they had were people that they've already worked with for exclusive covers before. So like Jim Lee and Scott Williams, Mark Brooks, and Frank Cho. I don't know if they've done anything with Bill Sienkiewicz, but he was there as well. But yeah, it was a solid lineup and group of people, and everyone was very approachable, and it was a very small, low key sort of event. I can't speak on Saturday and Sunday because that's when the big dogs showed up, Jim Lee and such. I was only there Friday, so it was, Frank Miller was there, so there's a VIP line. But I'll talk about that a little bit later. Artists had prints for $30, which is not bad. I feel like it's sort of an unspoken thing. I don't think anyone's said it out in the open, but it seems like the big two being Marvel and DC, their publisher policy is that their artist prints can only be sold directly by their artist in person or at conventions, or maybe different artists have different contracts and stuff like that. But sometimes I see some artists and I'm like, why? I haven't asked, but it's just like you only see them selling prints in person, it seems like, because for their cover art and stuff like that. But for their own independent stuff, I'm sure they can sell their own prints online. Booth inventory, just like any other convention I'm sure you've probably been to, you want to shop around before selling on a price. A lot of the hot books, like I said before, that you see, on those weekly, monthly top 10 lists, all that good stuff was there. Pricing was just like eBay. I'm sure you could have made some offers, but sellers may have different experiences. But it looks like some were only there to really show off their books rather than move product. Yeah, there wasn't too much modern, but lots of stuff for older collectors. But it was still nice to browse through if you're looking, to complete runs. There were some okay dollar bins. Organization, most of this stuff that I'm saying, a lot of pros. Their only con was organization a little bit. The only real issue I had with the show was that it didn't make sense to get wristbands and then go through security. It seems like that process could have been expedited a bit by either having everyone go through the metal detectors before going inside to get tickets, or go through the line and give wristbands on the spot or something. There became two different lines and it was kind of confusing without signage at first. And the same issue inside. Signage, again, would have been nice. The artists had their booths, but I didn't realize it until someone pointed out, is that there was another place behind the outside of the convention hall where people were lining up to get signatures. Yeah, just signage would be nice, but otherwise nothing else was bad about it. Overall experience is that despite working at a few large cons, I'm personally not a fan of large crowds, so that's why I only went on Friday with some friends, because I knew the big day would be Saturday with Jim Lee and Scott Williams. There was a line for Frank Miller in that VIP signing, but you couldn't tell if you were on the show floor. So that was organized really nicely. It didn't really get in the way. But as far as I know, everyone was pretty happy and got what they wanted. No real crazy stuff went down or anything. Both the facilitators, well, the big two at least, CGC, CBCS, they were there. The only real regret I had was not bringing more books to sign, if anything, because it was actually super convenient, because the booths were not that far from where the artists were. And everything was very, cut and clear, and pretty simple. And there wasn't many too crazy of a line or anything. If anything, the only crazy lines that I saw were for Frank Miller and Donny Cates, as expected. But if you're going there for like, a Bill Sienkiewicz or a Frank Cho or a Mark Brooks, at best, there might have been 5 to 10 people in those lines, which is crazy considering their art is probably the best, but it is what it is. But yeah, if you're looking to hang out and chat with the artists, it was really easy to do that. But everybody else, I'm sure there are big lines for Frank Miller and Jim Lee later on. That's about it for my review. I hope Torpedo Comics continues doing these conventions. I'm more than happy to return and hopefully, see it grow. I think everyone, aside from the ticketing thing at the beginning, because, the show just started, Everyone did a great job. All the vendors were cool. It was cool seeing all the different books and stuff, and you know, original artwork as well. But I hope to see it expand, and I hope to see it return. Possibly, maybe at a better venue. That's the only other issue, with more parking. An actual convention hall would be nice. But if they decide to keep it, keep it low key and small like this, that is perfectly fine too. Having it 3 different days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, is always so really nice, but that's pretty standard for most conventions. But yeah, that's all I got to say. If you want to check out, what happened, what went down, you can go ahead, check out their Instagram, Torpedo Comics, and see, who got tagged and all that stuff. And you can go to this website too, TorpedoCollectorsCon.com, and check out what happened and what went down as well. All right, that's all I got for you. Feel free to drop some comments down below, any questions, and thank you for watching. See you next time.